and welcome to another edition of
Die Rollin.
Hello. Right, and today what are we doing, Jamie? That was the Pearl's Dean tune. Well done. Nice. We are playing cowboys in Western Legends Ante Up.
Woohoo! Yeah, so Ante Up is the exciting expansion from the critically acclaimed board game that is Western Legends. Western Legends being the board game that is so immersive that you forget you're playing an actual board game.
Yeah, I'd actually pick it up now and show you it, but all the cards would go everywhere from the general store I've constructed. So Ante Up is an expansion to it. It adds a bunch of new features to it. Western Legends, the base game, our review for that you can find somewhere on this channel. There'll be a card somewhere, maybe in the video.
And we've done an unboxing of that as well.
We did do an unboxing.
So we've done an unboxing. This is a fan favourite of this channel. So when Ante Up came onto Kickstarter, it was a definite back from you, and not from me because I didn't own the game at the time, but I now do. So yay! What we're going to do, we're going to get it to the table and have a review play of it and feedback to you and let you know what we thought. Yeehaw! Okay, so being a bad guy and Adam being a marshal, I have decided that I am going to rob the train. And Adam being the marshal, he decided not to. So I'm here and I decided to rob the train. So what happens now is we pull the event. Ooh.
Okay, so there is a gold shipment. So this, first of all, you draw the 3 fight cards and the fight begins. So if you win this, then you will gain 3 gold nuggets and 3 wanted points. If you lose, you gain 1 wanted point.
So I'm looking here and I'm trying to work out what I want to do. Now, don't forget that obviously different cards have different. So without Adam looking, I'll just show you what I've got in my hand. So obviously I've got that. That's a reaction. Obviously that's a good card. So yeah. So I'm going to put this down here. Cool.
Cool. Whenever we play Western Legends and there's a fight, we always have someone shout draw.
Draw!
Okay, so Jamie's first. Quick draw. So 8 beats queen. You can cancel the effect on this card if you so wish, Jamie.
I don't want to, but I will react.
So that has lowered that down to a queen. And currently, this still wins.
Oh, but don't forget that I have a Widowmaker. And after cards are revealed in a fight, decrease the value of the card became value 1. So
that's Jack. So you still get so you gain 1 legendary point, 1 martial point, or 1 wanted point. And looking at legendary points, you could probably do with 1.
I could do 1.
Or you could go for
wanted. Do you know what? Let's go for a legendary point. You know what?
Maybe a win at the end. We'll see.
We'll see.
Cool. So you won this. So you get 3 gold nuggets.
Under the top. Cut.
Which just go in there.
Yeah.
And then you also get 3 wanted points. So you draw a poker card, you draw another poker card.
Nice. And my hand limit is currently 5, and I have 5, so that draws me back up to 5. So we have landed on Buzzard Gulch, and we have decided, well, as it's my turn, we have decided that we are going to play a game of Faro. And how that works is you basically take your gambling tokens and you can pay $20 or $10, and depending on which cards come out.
So there's 4 cards that are drawn. You see 3 of them. So we have 9, queen, 10, and there's an unknown card there. So we then have to bet on where we think the second card is going to be revealed.
So I'm really cash rich, so I'm going to go for the full $40. So I'm going to put that up there.
Where are you going to place your?
Well, we got 9, 10, and queen. So I'm going to go for the queen. I'm going to put $20 on there, and I'm going to put $20 on 9.
Okay, I'm going to put $40 and 10. Right, so these 4 cards now, they get shuffled back up again.
Yep.
So let's take these.
Oh, sorry about the cough.
So you should be.
Right.
Right, so We have 4 cards here. The first card that is revealed is going to be the one. If you have any tokens on here, you lose 5, which is one that we didn't have out.
So as it stands,
Someone's going to win the jackpot.
Someone could win the jackpot.
Well, no, someone definitely will.
Yeah.
So the winner is 9. So Jamie, you get your $20.
That's yours. Oh yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I get my $20 back, and 1-to-1, so I get $40. I get my stake and the win.
Cool.
So I'm even at this point.
Oh, this is where it's going to be really crap. So the next card is going to lose everything. 10. $40 gone.
And
this final card,
which is Queen, and Queens always win.
You get 3 times your bet, so there's $30 for you, plus the original $20 you had.
So that
and you also get gambler points for that.
Winner!
We've just played Western Legends Ante Up.
So straight off the bat, I've got one criticism. I've got 2 criticisms. Now I have an OCD issue with boards that don't line up. I had a really big issue with the zombie side invasion one, and that was a cool mini and not a game. This kind of Kolossal Games, they're big enough. They clearly had this expansion planned from the offset, yet they could not get their gun to line up on the board.
Yeah, there's a slight alignment issue. Now you can get a map for this game, but you shouldn't have to, right?
You shouldn't have to.
I can appreciate from your point of view how that does detract from. That's your first issue. What was your second issue?
My second issue is that they clearly have another expansion in mind, and they've kind of left half a map. And I get it, and I understand it, but I think when you're at that point, maybe when you come up with your next expansion, you consolidate it into one big board.
Yeah.
Because you kind of got boards. You know, I've got a big gaming table, and it was starting to take up a lot of the table.
And there's only us 2 playing this game.
Yeah.
If you had you can play up to 6 people with this game, and that would soon fill it. My table, I'd be struggling to get 6 people around it with this and the expansion on there. And I have an okay sized kind of dinner table for this. And then if there is an expansion coming.
Yeah, and card placement's already an issue because where you used to put your discard pile doesn't work anymore, so you're on the periphery of the tables and stuff like that. So when they bring out the next expansion, which I guarantee they will, they really need to think about that.
Whilst we're on the bad things, can I jump in?
Yeah, of course.
So the tokens, a bit frustrating, and I don't know if it was done on purpose, but the tokens from the base game are a little smaller and maybe a bit harder to read.
Yeah.
They have basically brought a bunch of new tokens in this one, including tokens that were in the original game, but they're bigger. They don't quite fit on. They're just a bit bulkier, and they don't look as good, I think, personally. But I think maybe that was something for visually. But if you're getting this game and the expansion, you've got the original, I don't feel you could actually mix up the Cal tokens and stuff with the new stuff.
Yeah, and
whether you're meant to or not, I'm not sure.
I don't think. Well, it doesn't say in the rules you do or you don't. But
it doesn't really say about the tokens.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's sort of a bit meh. But bearing in mind that they missed a bit anyway already from their rule book, I'm surprised they haven't missed that as well.
Yeah, there's a little errata in there.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure when this comes out to retail, that'll be sorted out.
So,
positives?
The positives, and there are a number of positives for me. So, having played Western Legends quite a lot in smaller groups of about 2 or 3, and sometimes up to about 4 people, 5 people, one of the things that you tend to find is that you are pretty much forced into combat situations in order to push yourself along the track. What the Ante Up gives you is the ability, A, to have more space. So in a larger setting there's more space, you're less likely to feel that way. And secondly, it gives you other options to play. Now I didn't win the game, but I wasn't that far at the end. And it's a little bit of luck as to what sort of points I got on the little black
on the legendary tokens, yeah.
But having not a single round of combat apart from robbing a train, I actually did quite well with the new frontier tokens, playing Faru, and
when you won it at least.
When I won it, and generally picking up like new nodes of gold and other bits and pieces. I really like that element. I mean, you can have a non-combative game in the Western world setting.
Yeah, and also to go along with that as well, I was a little concerned to begin with because we both start off and we were using the new characters, so they start off in the new area. And I was a little concerned to begin with because I left that area fairly quickly in the game to come back to the main board. But Jamie was going around and he was basically getting a bunch of legendary points. Pretty much every turn you were getting 1 or 2 legendary points, and soon he was racking up those legendary points. And I was a bit concerned that actually maybe if he just stood around there and moved around there that he was going to get a bunch more legendary points than me. But in the end I actually won the game, and I felt it was really balanced because even though there was stuff you could do over there, me just doing the regular stuff I normally do during a game and adding some extra bits in from the expansion, still it was a fairly balanced game and there wasn't any kind of balancing issues there, so that was pretty cool.
That's quite cool, and one of the things that I really liked is that there's much more consequences to some of the things. So one of the tokens you can get is like a new brownish ranch token,
the longhorn
cattle, and you can hold up as many of those as you want. So as you go through Frontier or whatever, you can gain those, and they're worth 30 gold coins and an extra legendary point. But you can get like 2 or 3, which I did, and you can get that back to certain points in the game, and that was quite cool. Apart from it slowed you down, and I really liked that, and I felt that because of that, you know, you were like, oh yeah, I'll get a few more, but now I'm slowed down because I've got all of this cattle I've got to try and work my way through. And it again, you know, Western Legends is about being immersive. It's about putting you in the game and making you feel like you are a cowboy or a cowgirl living in that Western society and trying to, you know, make a living and make your way. And it isn't about going around and shooting other people.
It can be if you want it to, though. That's
it can be, but
some people like doing that.
Yeah. That's my view.
Okay, cool.
The end.
So I think one thing that I thought was really interesting is that there's some new events in this game. So at certain points you will draw an event card, and this populates the boards with various different things like new tokens or some like gold nuggets in particular places, respawning bandits. Now this is quite useful. It didn't really seem that useful for in a 2-player game. However, when you're playing like 4 to 6 players in this game, sometimes some people can start really making like leeway with getting really high up in legendary points, and it's very hard to beat them. In this essence, like being spread around the board, you can actually, if you're behind, you can get nuggets rather than having to go all the way down to get some nuggets at the mines. And it gives you more options and more abilities. Now this might turn some people off because Western Legends, there's a ton of options when you play this game. You can focus on being an outlaw, you can focus on being a marshal, you could just be prospecting, you can spend all your money at the cabaret. And this adds a bit more on the gambling side. So there's a whole new track about gambling, which, you know, you started going up and it got you a legendary point at the end. So some people might be a bit overwhelmed with the amount of things that are actually you can do in here. But I think if you've played Western Legends with your friends, Ante Up is a necessity. It adds so much more to the game, and the base game is great as it is.
And I was going to say, you can, you know, if you're introducing people to this game, I would just introduce them to the base game. There's only enough going on in there. Ante Up adds where you played it a few times and you want a few more bits and pieces, or you've got an experienced game group and you kind of get it. So yeah, for me it's a fantastic expansion, well thought out. Clearly it was thought about at the time of the base game.
Yeah.
I would expect more with it. It doesn't disappoint. There are some nuances with it that...
Yeah, like I think the train moving around is every turn you have to move the train around, and it isn't very obvious where the train's supposed to go. Once you've played it a few times, sure. When you're first playing this though, it is very much, I have to go back to the rulebook to figure out where this train is actually going. And the actual miniature for the train doesn't look that great, if I'm honest, but it's better than any train miniatures I could make. I'll just add that in there.
Yeah, but I would also like to say that I don't, apart from like robbing it and that, you know, there wasn't an awful lot of interaction in it, and for something that you do at the start of your turn every turn, it doesn't seem to take that much of an impact in the game.
But that might be down to the fact it was just the 2 of us, and if there are more players and you're trying to maybe get up that outlaw kind of, you know, track, and the train's coming your way, you can plan your turn out a bit better to do that.
Cool.
Perhaps.
So with any game that we play, we like to rate it, and I'm gonna rate it using my hands.
What?
I know, and the reason I'm gonna rate it using my hands is there's so many components in this game
You could use
that
everything.
it's really hard.
I think we used the prospecting dice last time.
Yeah, the prospecting dice, and that was great, but no one. I don't think anyone cares. So for me, out of hands, like
Okay,
poker hands,
poker hands. Okay.
Yeah, you see, that's why it's a band.
Sure.
I will give it 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5.
Okay. And for me, I will probably give this. I'd give this 7 cacti. I reckon.
Yeah, 7 cacti.
7 cacti because it's a little prickly around the edges, but once you when you're in the desert and you need some sweet juice, that's where you go.
Anyway, if you managed to get through our dribble and listen to our review, well done you. And thank you for watching all the way through. If you liked what you saw, which quite frankly probably didn't, please make sure you click like and subscribe.
And you can find us on various different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter, YouTube.
And YouTube. We're on YouTube right now.
Right now.
Anyway, make sure you give us a click, like and follow.
You need to just come in.
That's
Right.
the outro, right?
That's the outro.